Why is it that letting go feels so painful, even when you know deep down it's the right thing to do? Why do we hold on to people who hurt us, situations that drain us, and memories that keep us stuck? You tell yourself, I need to move on, but something inside refuses to release. That invisible resistance, that emotional weight, it can feel overwhelming. Paramahansa Yogananda taught that letting go is difficult not because we are weak, but because we are deeply attached to illusions that feel real to the mind. And until we understand those illusions, we keep holding on, even when it hurts. Letting go feels hard because we confuse attachment with love. We believe that holding on proves how much we care. We think that if we release something or someone, it means it didn't matter. But Yogananda explained that true love is not attachment. Attachment is driven by fear, the fear of losing, the fear of being alone, the fear of emptiness. Love, on the other hand, is free. It does not cling. It does not demand. It simply flows. When you are attached, your mind creates a story. I need this person, I can't be happy without this, my life won't be the same. These thoughts feel real, and because they feel real, they create emotional dependency. And the stronger the dependency, the harder it becomes to let go. Another reason letting go feels so difficult is because the mind resists change. The mind prefers what is familiar, even if it is painful. A toxic relationship may hurt you, but it is known. It feels predictable. Letting go means stepping into the unknown. And the unknown creates fear. Yogananda taught that fear is often stronger than suffering. That's why people stay in situations that no longer serve them. Not because they enjoy the pain, but because they are afraid of what comes after. They don't trust that something better is possible. So they hold on, hoping things will change, even when everything inside them knows it's time to move on. There is also a deeper layer to this struggle. When you try to let go, you are not just releasing a person or a situation, you are releasing a part of your identity. You may have built your sense of self around that relationship, that goal, that version of life. And without it, you feel lost. This is why letting go can feel like losing yourself. But Yogananda reminded us of a powerful truth: anything that can be lost was never your true self. Your real identity is not tied to external things. It is something deeper, something unchanging. But the mind does not easily accept this. It keeps going back to the past. It replays memories. It holds on to what was. It says, maybe things will go back to how they were. This attachment to the past creates emotional suffering in the present. Yogananda explained that the mind lives in time, but the soul lives in the present moment. When you are stuck in memories or fears, you are disconnected from the present. And the present is the only place where peace exists. Another reason letting go feels so hard is because we attach meaning to our pain. We believe that our suffering has a story that must be honored. I invested so much time. I gave so much of myself. I can't just walk away. These thoughts create a sense of obligation, even when holding on is hurting you. But spiritual wisdom teaches something different. It teaches that growth often requires release. Just as a tree must let go of old leaves to grow new ones, you must release what no longer aligns with your higher self. Yogananda often emphasized that clinging creates suffering, while surrender creates peace. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means trusting that life is guiding you towards something greater, even if you cannot see it yet. This trust is difficult, especially when emotions are involved. But without it, you remain stuck between the past and the future, unable to fully live in the present. Letting go also challenges the ego. The ego wants control. It wants things to happen according to its expectations. When something ends or changes unexpectedly, the ego feels threatened. It resists. It tries to fix, control, or hold on. But the more you try to control, the more tension you create. And that tension is what makes letting go feel so painful. Yogananda taught that peace comes when you stop resisting what is. When you accept reality as it is, without trying to force it to be different, something shifts inside you. The struggle begins to fade. This does not mean you won't feel pain. You will. But the pain will no longer be prolonged by resistance. It will move through you, instead of staying stuck. Meditation plays a powerful role in this process. When you sit in silence and observe your thoughts, you begin to see how the mind clings. You notice how it repeats the same stories, the same fears, the same attachments. And as you observe without reacting, those patterns slowly begin to weaken. Yogananda taught that awareness is the key to freedom. The moment you become aware of your attachment, you create space between you and it. And in that space, you have a choice. You can choose to hold on, or you can choose to release. But releasing is not a one-time act. It is a process. You may have to let go again and again, each time a thought or memory arises. And that is okay. Each time you choose release, you become stronger. Over time, something beautiful begins to happen. The emotional charge starts to fade. The memories lose their intensity. The fear of the unknown begins to soften. And slowly, you begin to realize that letting go is not about losing something. It is about making space for something new. It is about trusting that your life is not falling apart, but falling into place. And as this understanding deepens, the grip of attachment begins to loosen. You start to feel lighter, more open, more at peace. And in that space, something unexpected begins to emerge, a quiet strength, a deeper clarity, a sense of freedom that you could not experience while holding on so tightly. And as that grip loosens, you begin to see something you couldn't see before. You realize that what you were holding onto was not giving you security, it was keeping you trapped. The pain you feared in letting go was already there, quietly growing beneath the surface. And the moment you begin to release, even slightly, that pain starts to transform. Paramahansa Yogananda taught that true freedom comes when you stop identifying with what you are losing and start connecting with what you are becoming. This shift is subtle, but powerful. Instead of focusing on what is leaving your life, you begin to focus on the space that is opening within you. And that space is not empty, it is full of potential. At first, letting go may still feel uncomfortable. The mind will try to pull you back. It will remind you of memories, emotions, and possibilities that no longer exist. It will say, "What if you made a mistake? What if this was your only chance?" These thoughts are not truth, they are fear trying to keep you in the familiar. Yogananda explained that the mind is conditioned by repetition. It returns to what it knows, even if what it knows is painful. That is why letting go requires patience. You are not just releasing a person or situation, you are retraining your mind. Each time the mind goes back, gently bring it forward again. Not with force, but with awareness. Remind yourself, "This is no longer part of my path." That simple recognition begins to break the cycle. There is also a moment in the process of letting go where you feel an emotional void. It can feel like something is missing. And many people mistake this feeling as a sign that they should go back. But Yogananda taught that this space is necessary. It is the gap between who you were and who you are becoming. If you fill that space too quickly, with distractions, with new attachments, with temporary comfort, you interrupt your own growth. But if you allow yourself to sit in that space, to experience it without escaping, something deeper begins to emerge. You begin to reconnect with yourself. For a long time, your attention was outward, focused on someone, something, or some outcome. Now, for the first time, that attention returns inward. And this is where true healing begins. Yogananda emphasized that the soul does not need anything external to feel complete. It is already whole. But when the mind is attached, it forgets this truth. Letting go is not about becoming empty. It is about remembering your completeness. As you stay present with yourself, without rushing to replace what you lost, you start to feel a quiet sense of stability. It may not be dramatic. It may not happen overnight. But it grows. You begin to notice that your peace is not as dependent as it used to be. The things that once triggered intense emotions now feel lighter. The thoughts that once pulled you back now pass more quickly. This is the sign that you are healing. Another important realization begins to take shape. You understand that everything you were holding on to was part of your journey, not the destination. It came into your life to teach you something, to help you grow, to reveal something within you. And once that purpose is fulfilled, holding on only creates resistance. Yogananda often reminded that life is constantly moving. Nothing is meant to stay forever. When you try to hold on to what is meant to change, you create suffering. But when you align with the natural flow of life, you experience peace. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. There is a big difference between the two. Caring is open. Clinging is tight. Caring allows space. Clinging creates pressure. When you learn to care without clinging, your entire experience of life changes. Relationships become healthier. Goals become more fulfilling. And your mind becomes more at ease. You are no longer afraid of losing, because you are no longer depending on things for your sense of self. And this is where real strength begins. Yogananda described this state as inner freedom, the ability to remain calm and centered, regardless of what is happening externally. This is not indifference. It is deep awareness. You still feel. You still love. You still engage with life. But you do so without losing yourself in it. As you continue on this path, letting go becomes easier. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You trust yourself more. You trust life more. You understand that whatever leaves is making space for something new. And whatever comes will also pass. This understanding brings a deep sense of peace. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you begin to see, "This is happening for my growth." And with that shift, resistance fades. You no longer fight the process. You move with it. And in that movement, you begin to feel lighter, freer, more present. You start to experience moments of peace that are not connected to anything external. Just a quiet sense of being okay, exactly where you are. That is the gift of letting go. It brings you back to yourself. So if you are struggling to release something right now, be gentle with yourself. Don't force it. Don't rush it. Just stay aware. Stay present. And take one small step at a time. Because letting go is not about losing something important. It is about discovering that your peace was never dependent on it. And once you truly realize that, you don't just let go, you rise. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on what you need to release in your own life. And if you want more deep, practical spiritual wisdom like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and continue this journey of healing, awareness, and inner freedom.